Next is we will discuss about the types of businesses according to activities. Businesses are classified by the type of activities they perform, such as service companies, merchandising companies, and manufacturing companies. Any of these activities can be performed by companies using any of the three business organizations. A service business generates income by providing services. It focuses on providing intangible products such as offering professional skills, proposals, and expertise. So basically what happens in a service business is that they provide their service to their customers, and the customers will pay them for the services they rendered. Examples of service industries are accounting firms, law firms, and dry cleaning establishments, barber shops, massage spas, and travel tour agencies. Next is merchandising. Merchandising business purchases goods that are ready for sale and then sell them to customers. Merchandising is a type of business wherein it involves buying and selling goods. So basically, a company will buy first the goods that they will sell to customers as merchandise. Examples of merchandising businesses are grocery stores, fashion boutiques, auto dealerships, and clothing stores. Let's now proceed to manufacturing. Manufacturing business involves buying raw materials, convert them into products, and then sell the products to their companies or the final customers. Merchandising and manufacturing business both sells products to customers. The only difference is that manufacturing prepares the goods they sell, unlike in merchandising that they only buy what they will sell. Manufacturing companies include food manufacturers like Gardenia, auto manufacturers like Toyota, and clothing manufacturers. We also have hybrid type. Some companies may be classified under more than one type of business. An example of this is a music production and recording company. It handles singers and talents. These singers and talents perform at concerts produced by the company. This concert performance serves as their business. Then the firm has also record bar where they sell CDs of different artists. This record bar serves as their merchandising part of the business. And lastly, the company is also producing CD albums of the latest songs of their singers. The production of the CD albums involves manufacturing part of their business. Next is, how do they measure the income of these types of businesses? We will show a video for that.
Now, how do these companies measure the income that they receive? In service companies, remember the equation for the income statement, which is revenue minus expenses is net income. It works now this way. In service companies, service revenue less operating expenses is equal to net income. This means that we will match the revenues that the company is earning minus the expenses that they pay for to operate the business. That is your net income. While in merchandising and manufacturing, which sells goods, you match sales revenue with the cost of goods sold. What is a cost of goods sold? How much did the company paid for the goods that they will sell? In Tagalog, kumbaga sa sari-sari store, kung yung nanay mo ay bumili ng ballpen na ititinda niya sa sari-sari store, 8 pesos, kunyari. Tapos, binenta niya ng 12 pesos yung ballpen. E di, syempre, anong nangyari? Yung nanay mo, tumubo ng 4. So, ganito yon. The ballpen is 8 pesos. That is cost of goods sold. Then it was sold to customers at 12 pesos. Your 12 pesos is sales revenue. So 12 minus 8 gives you 4. 4 pesos ang tubo in English, and in accounting that is gross profit. And then the gross profit will be deducted to the operating expenses of the company to arrive at net income or loss. So for income measurement, let's have some examples. Problem number 1. A barber shop earned 60,000 pesos during the month of April. Salaries paid to barbers amounted to 20,000 pesos. Utilities paid for is 6,000 and rent of the space for the barber shop is 5,000. How much is the net income of the barber shop? Let's analyze the problem. Remember that a service company will have to earn income through rendering services. And truly enough, in the month of April, they earned 60,000 for the services that they rendered. However, they need to pay salaries for their barbers. They also need to pay for utility bills like electricity and water. And also, if they do not own their own space or their own office, then there will be a rent expense. So, this will be our computation. Service revenue of 60,000, then deduct all of the operating expenses that they paid for. Salaries, utilities, and rent, which will total 31,000. And then, you match the revenue with the expenses that has been paid. Revenue minus expenses, 60,000 minus 31,000. The company enjoyed a net income of 29,000 during the month. It's easy, right? Okay. Problem number 2. A grocery store earned 225,000 pesos from selling their goods during the month of April. These goods sold were first purchased at an amount of 160,000. Salaries paid to employees is 25,000, utilities paid is 4,000, and rent of the selling area is 6,000. How much is the net income of the grocery for the month of April? So look at this. The goods that they sold, they earned 225,000. That is their selling price for all of the products they sold. However, remember that merchandising is a buying and selling activity. The goods that were sold at 225,000 pesos were first purchased by the company at 160,000. So if you will be looking at it like this, it will be sales revenue is 225,000 less cost of goods sold of 160,000. They earn gross profit of 65,000. Simplihan natin in Tagalog. Bumili muna sila ng mga products na ibebenta nila 160,000. Tapos yung 160,000 na yun na pinambili nila, binenta nila ng 225,000. Eh di tumubo sila ngayon ng 65,000. O ganun lang yun, okay? And then, we deduct the operating expenses of 25,000 salaries, 4,000 utilities, and 6,000 rent, for a total of 35,000. Then, we will match them together. 65 minus 35, net income is 30,000 pesos. Easy, di ba? Okay, problem number 3. A car manufacturing company sold 2 cars totaling 3 million pesos during the month of April. Car parts and materials used for these cars amounted to 600,000. Labor costs paid amounting to 800,000 or amounts to 800,000, and other indirect costs to manufacture the cars amounted to 100,000. Salaries paid to office employees is 50,000, utilities paid is 20,000, and the rent of selling area of the office space is 10,000. How much is the net income of the car company for the month of April? Now, in manufacturing, it gets a bit complicated, but let me explain that to you. Remember that the cost of goods sold is the amount that the company has sacrificed in order for them to sell these products. However, we are talking about manufacturing here, and in manufacturing, we need raw materials. We also need the production process in order for them to have finished goods. Okay? So, look at the problem. Yes, we were able to sell 2 cars, and the total of that is 3 million. So, we earned 3 million as sales revenue. No problem with that. However, in order for them to build the car, ang ginastos nila 600,000 na materials. Tas syempre, pasasahurin mo yung mga laborers na gumagawa ng kotse. The total was 800,000. And all other indirect costs, like for example, the rent of the factory plant, or the salaries of the factory janitors, anything that is not really related to the car but related to the production process is called indirect costs, or what we call the overhead. So remember that in manufacturing process, we have three kinds of costs which pertains to the cost of the goods, which is materials, labor, and overhead. So in order for them to make the car, they what they sacrifice is 600,000 pesos for the materials, 800,000 pesos for labor, and 100,000 for overhead, for a total of 1,500,000. So in building the car, they sacrificed 1,500,000. But they were able to sell it at 3 million. So ang tubo, the gross profit will be 1,500,000. Then we go to the same formula, operating expenses. Let's get the total. Salaries of 50,000, utilities of 20,000, and rent of 10,000. Totals 80,000. Gross profit of 1,500,000 less operating expenses of 80,000 will give you a net income for the month of 1,420,000. It actually works the same way as in merchandising. It's just that we need to take into account the materials that were purchased by the company to make the car, and then the labor or the salary of the laborers in making the car, and other indirect costs related to car manufacturing. Okay, so I hope that you understood our lesson very, very well.